It is 6:30 Monday, August 12th, and it is the regular school board meeting of ISD 717. I call the meeting to order, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call vote, please.
Deb Polly,
Here.
Sarah Lanen,
Here.
Lauren Pedersen,
Here.
Molly Maniak,
Here.
Rob Langheim,
Here.
Corinne Hennon,
Here.
Jenny Kuski.
Here.
Thank you. It is great to have a full house. And it's great. Welcome to all our guests. Thank you for being here this evening. We're anxious to honor your students and hear from you. So next we have consideration of the agenda. There's no changes to the agenda since it was published. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as published.
Motion to approve.
Molly, is there a second?
Second.
Lauren, discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Jordan Pride Awards, the fun part of the evening. So I'm going to call Kelly Razor up to the microphone, and we will start with our first Jordan Pride Award.
Stacy Gander is our elementary school kitchen lead. She is being recognized this evening for receiving the General Mills Trailblazer Award. General Mills gives this award to school nutrition professionals who are thinking big and going above and beyond to feed the kids in their communities. As the Jordan Elementary kitchen lead, Stacy is always ready with new ideas, whether it's a new scratch recipe, a fun holiday treat, or a creative attempt at getting students to try new foods. One of the great things that Stacy introduced since she's been with us is Try It Tuesday. On Tuesdays, students are encouraged to try a new food item, and then they vote if they would like to have it again on the menu or not. Over the last couple of years, they've tried many fruits and vegetables, such as Brussels sprouts, acorn squash, edamame, pickled onions, pomegranate, dragon fruit, just to name a few. We are so appreciative of the work Stacy does with our students and staff. She is constantly thinking of ways to improve our program and is always supportive of the processes in place. Stacy, congratulations on your award. You are truly deserving.
Great. Well, congratulations, Stacy, on having helped in the kitchen during Nutrition Breakfast Week. I know how much fun it was working there, and thank you for all that you do. You do a tremendous job with our students under the leadership of Kelly, so thank you. And so we have this Jordan Pride Award that states, Jordan Pride Award is hereby presented to Stacy Gander, General Mills Trailblazer Certificate of Achievement, whose endeavor for excellence has shown character, determination, and hard work that represents the values of our school and community. This is a small token of gratitude to say congratulations and thank you for being a role model to others. So I will let Kelly present you with the certificate. And we'll be getting a picture back there. And next, I would like to call Cullen Bond up for our next two groups of awards.
Well, good evening, everyone. I have the pleasure of introducing two of our coaches. Tony Cooley from our Scott West Bass Fishing is here, and then Jeff Raddick from the Jordan Trap team is here. So we'll start with Tony, who's going to give just a quick, brief overview of the season, and then introduce four of our team members who have excelled this year. So, Tony?
Hey everyone, so last year I came to the board meeting and spoke about rebuilding the Scott West Fishing program, and I'm happy to say that this year has been a wild success. So we increased our coaching staff by 3 more coaches, so doubled our coaching staff. We've been investing in our sponsorship program and increased dollars that have come to the program that we could spend on students and reimbursing boat captains. We've also participated in both virtual as well as live tournaments. We averaged around 12 of our teams that fished amongst around 200 other teams across the state for, I think it was 5 virtual tournaments. In terms of the live tournaments, we had students compete in what's called the SATT tournament trail. And those are where they go to big lakes such as Mille Lacs, Lahamadu. They go up to Alexandria, so they travel far and wide to compete with states all across Minnesota. The last tournament trail that we participated in was the Minnesota Junior Bass. And we had 4 high school teams that competed in that tournament trail against 39 other high school teams within our local region. That includes Shakopee, Holy Family, Waconia, Chaska, and other surrounding teams. We unfortunately did not make a bid to state, but the teams did extremely well in that tournament trail. The last tournament trail, which I have students here that will be getting awarded for that, is the Minnesota Junior Bass Juniors Tournament Trail, where they competed in one qualifying event on Lake Marion and Lakeville, and then they went on to the state championship, which was in Starbuck, Minnesota. So we had 2 teams qualify for the state championship. Both teams competed in the state championship. One team made it with a 6th place finish, and then we had our other team actually win the entire state championship, which is astonishing. Really proud of that team. So that 1st place team will be going to nationals next year with 2 other teams across Minnesota. Nationals essentially will be somewhere in the U.S., likely down south. This year, I believe it was in Tennessee. It's a week-long event where they'll have 3 days of practice on really big water. They'll have one day where they'll do a media day with the press. They'll have a bunch of vendors come in to give them some goodies, and then they'll have 2 days of tournaments where they'll compete against teams across the nation. So I would like to recognize these students who competed and did really well in our state championship.
Okay.
I can call them.
Okay.
So on our 6th place team, we had Gavin Isaac. And then we had Trevon Marshall, who was Gavin's partner. We have Max Johnson, who is not present tonight. And then we have Bryce Stylen on the 1st place team. And Bryce's partner, Brett Nightingale.
So congratulations, gentlemen, for being great representatives of our district, and I suppose you have your vacation plan for next year. I'm so glad to see the program growing the way it is. Maybe you want to talk a little bit, I think there's a little bit of a perception out there that they need to have like a dad or a grandpa that has a boat that takes them fishing. What about the kids that don't have that? Sure. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the question was around for students that maybe don't have a boat or who their fishing partner might be. So we have a number of different opportunities and recognize that some families don't have boats. Some families maybe are unwilling to travel to these far and wide locations. Some are unable to take off to compete in the tournaments that are during the week. So we have a number of different options. Some of those being, yes, you need a boat, 2 students, an adult boat captain for many of the tournaments, but then our other virtual option is really you could go down to Lagoon and bring a kayak or even fish from shore by yourself or with another student partner or with a grandparent, aunt, cousin, whoever it might be. So we really try to provide opportunities across different kind of capabilities.
Thank you. Congratulations again, gentlemen, and we'll get a picture over there by that screen.
right. Next, Jeff, if you want to come up and say a few words.
First, thank you for having me again. Thank you for honoring our students. Jordan Clay Target, we do both trap and sporting clays. Kind of trap is the old way. You have to do trap in order to get into all the tournaments and things like that. Tonight we're recognizing the ones that went all the way to nationals. So in trap, it's nobody rides the bench. Everybody shoots every week during the season, and they have a combined scoring system that scores the whole team, no matter if it's middle schoolers, if it's older age kids, or everything is combined together into one score. And then as you get to tournament time, they start whittling it down till you get to the point of you have 5 left. And the top 280 teams from the season across the nation, there's about 2,000 schools that have teams. Top 280 teams are invited to nationals in Michigan. To do the national tournament, it does take a whole community. It takes kids that are willing to shoot in front of 100 people or more, and that's very intimidating. It takes parents that are willing to take the time, take vacation, put their own money into it to travel, and it also takes our community sponsors. In Clay Target, there is no free tournament. You always have to pay to be in the tournament. So we do have community sponsors. You guys have recognized them, and they help us with those entry fees. So tonight we're honoring the 5 that went to nationals. Like I said, it's the top 280 teams, and all these shot individually as well. So on the team side, it's about top 15% of teams get invited, and it ends up being about the top 5% individuals. So it's both a team tournament and an individual tournament. So all our kids, all 5 of them, shot individually in the top tie for 5% of all high school kids that shoot trap, and we competed as a team as well. So.
He's not here right now.
Yep. First, I will do our 2 co-captains from the season, Nicole Ray and Aaron Schenk. Both graduated seniors. 11th grader, now 12th grader, Brian Raddick. New to the high school halls, Miles Mahowald. Last senior that has graduated, Eli Dole, he could not be with us.
Well, thank you, Coach, and also the fishing coach. I know that a lot of time and effort and energy goes into not only supporting these kids, but doing the fundraising and traveling with them. And so on behalf of the board, we want to thank you sincerely, and to the parents that support these kids. So thank you, Coach, and congratulations. Job well done. Thank you for representing our district so well and being great role models. So the best to you. Thank you.
I do want to add just one thing, and so we're clear on this one. Jeff and Amy and Tony and Allie out of both these programs, I've offered a stipend, and every single time they turn it down, so it goes back to the kids. So these are 4 people, 2 families, and I know they've got a lot of assistant coaches and some strong help, but without the help of our community and what they do, we wouldn't be able to do what they do. So let's give their families a quick round of applause too.
Goosebumps.
I know, I got them too.
That's awesome. What great representatives of our district. Okay, no public comments. Nobody indicated they wanted to speak. Consent agenda. We have the July 8th regular meeting, monthly finance reports for July. For donations, we have Mighty Cause donated $45 for the backpack program. The Jordan Pride Booster Club donated $25,000 for various activities. We have a myriad of 39 policies. Most of those were minor revisions, just to be in compliance with the new legislation. We have a new hire, preschool teacher Emma Bauer. She comes in at a BA Step 3. New hire, elementary school long-term sub, grade 1 teacher Adya Markham. She's at a BA Step 1. New hire, let's see, high school special ed paraprofessional Erin Knoll, grade 2, Step 11. New hire debate coach Rachel Ryberg, and new hire boys C soccer coach Leo Pexa. They're both per Schedule C rates. We have the leave of absence for the middle school LA academic interventionist teacher Gina Goring Anderson. Resignation, high school special ed paraprofessional Vicki Smith. Resignation, elementary school lunchroom supervisor Laura Dibble. And then the salvage of our old replaced pole vault pit. So I will entertain a motion to approve the consent items.
Motion to approve?
Lauren, is there a second?
I'll second.
Sarah, discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, Superintendent Evenson, Local 284 contract.
Chair Polly, members of the board, good evening. Tonight's first item is the Local 284 contract. We actually started negotiating that contract probably back in May. I think we had really good collaboration with the negotiations team, so thank you to Lauren, Sarah, Deb for your time and commitment to that process. Thank you to Local 284 representatives as well for their work on that. You know, the thing that I want to start with is just to share that a lot of these contracts haven't gone very smoothly in lots of districts. I have a lot of appreciation for the team that we work with. There were from the beginning, everyone had a common agenda in terms of, you know, just working together, respect for the district and the community, and we actually settled in 3 meetings. So that's awesome. So things that I would like to just point out about the contract, I believe I've shared this previously in an update, but I just want to touch base on the contract was ratified. There were multiple required PELRA updates that include like the emergency school closing language, some of the arbitration language that changed, you know, with new legislation. We made some shifts on some of the pay differentials for site leads and lead subs. There were some clothing and cell phone payment adjustments, years of service rates, and we added a special class boilers license. Health and life insurance had some updates, and it needed it. We aligned vacation and holidays to other contracts, added Juneteenth as required, and for 12-month employees, added Memorial Day for 9-month employees, and there was a 3.5% each year increase. So it's my recommendation that we approve the contract, and just want to again express gratitude for everyone involved in the process.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve?
Lauren, is there a second?
No second.
Jenny? Okay. Discussion, questions, comments?
It's been a really good process. I agree with Renee 100%. Like, everybody's been respectful, great conversation. So you really do a very good job at that.
Thank you.
And as well as, so do the negotiators.
Yeah.
Like, it's a really good collaborative discussion and meeting.
Okay, any further? If not, we have a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor of approving the local union 284 contract signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, additional biennial contracts. We have the district equity and outreach specialists, kids company supervisors and group leaders, and our community ed front desk assistant. Superintendent Evenson.
You know, as Chair Polly mentioned, as we go through every 2 years, certain, you know, contracts cycle through. These two, we made some adjustments as well. Alignment has been Alignment is the key word. Alignment has been kind of my focus in the last 2 rounds of negotiations as directed by the school board, and we are coming closer and closer to that. And so some of the things for the district equity outreach specialist, for example, the insurance contribution, getting that more in alignment with where we are with other contracts. Emergency school closing language, that was a legislative update, making sure that was in alignment. We added Memorial Day as a holiday, which again brings us into alignment with that contract as well. It is a 3.5% increase year 1 and year 2. That equates to about $1.19 and $1.23 each year on that contract. Also on the kids company, Circ front desk contract, that's one that actually has had a lot of discussion for the last 2 rounds. We knew that we needed to make some major adjustments on that. That one was definitely out of compliance in terms of market rate. For example, we had student workers that were earning $10 an hour, and it was really hard to get them to take those jobs because they earn far more doing many, many other things. And so bringing that to a starting rate of $12.50, for example, is one of the major adjustments. And so, you know, moving forward, we feel like we're in a far better place. We had a very collaborative conversation with the directors of community education and ELS. They're the ones that primarily work on those hires and deal with the staffing components with that and are responsible for that budget. So it was a good conversation, and those would be the 2 contracts as presented and as linked that we would recommend that is approved so that we can communicate that out to those employees.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Molly, is there a second?
I'll second.
Corinne? Okay, discussion, questions? I'm glad to see that we're doing some alignment and some adjustments that were much needed done. I know it was hard to, especially the front desk assistants, you know, $10 an hour is hard, so those are good. Any other comments or questions? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of approving the contracts as delineated by our superintendent signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Back to school update.
All right, Chair Polly, members of the board, I'm actually really excited to give this update. Let's just start clicking through the slides, and I'll just tell you next. How about that, whoever's running it? All right, so first of all, it goes without saying, we every year cannot wait for our kids to come back to school and the staff, and we're getting closer and closer. Highlights for the year, it's our 2nd year of the school calendar where we're starting after Labor Day and ending around Memorial Day. This year will be a couple of days after Memorial Day because of where certain holidays fall, if that makes sense. Last year, an example would be Good Friday fell within spring break. This year it's outside of spring break, so that pushes one more day. Start and end times remain consistent for our buildings for the 2nd year in a row. We anticipate construction fun. I use that word loosely, but I want to have a good attitude because attitude reflects leadership. Busing, drop-off, pickup, all of those things will be big communication pushes for us as we start the school year. Tomorrow, I believe, annual verification communications go out. We do this every year. And if you can help us, and we'll push this out many different ways, it's important for every family that has students in our district to go through and verify that we have the accurate information. Phone numbers, addresses, all of those things need to be verified every year. And so that's super important that that happens, that we have accurate data. So share it. When we share it, that would be really helpful. There we go. I want to give thanks. I always like to start and end with gratitude. But our staff, I know all summer our staff prepare for students. I know that we have staff members that literally their first day out, they were preparing for the next school year. And so that says a lot about our community and team that work together for our students. Thank you to the parents and community members for their flexibility. We made a lot of programming adjustments this summer. Our middle school housed a lot. Honestly, it went really well from my perspective, and people were awesome. Our staff was awesome with that, and so lots of gratitude. Our admin team, I cannot say enough about our admin team. Their work on so many priorities. It's unbelievable the amount of things that they have to siphon through and work through just to get ready for that first day of workshop, that first day back with students. Our staffing, filling key positions, there's always little things that pop up with that. Scheduling is always a big deal and a big process. So legislative updates, we continue to learn things. I was just at some informational sessions with the Department of Ed last week on Tuesday, and I heard things I'd never heard before. So there's always new things. So I want to say thank you, the admin team. They're always working, and I appreciate so much that they care so much about our staff and kids. So thank you. Custodial team, it has been amazing to see the teamwork that they have really pulled together just to make sure through construction that things are happening and that we're going to be ready for kids. An example, all hands on deck working to clean the high school, get that ready, moving to the middle school and cleaning while we have kids on site and doing those things. The elementary school, starting to clean over there in the K1 wing and all of those things to get things ready. So it's a big push. And so I just wanted to say thank you for that teamwork. Our district office team, building admin team, it all summer long is our busy time. Sometimes we get the question, so do you guys have off in the summer? Oh gosh, no, because we're busier in the summer sometimes than November. So I just wanted to say thank you. And then our summer program staff, they kill it year in and year out. So a lot of appreciation for all that happens for our kids. I want to just call your attention to coming events, some important dates. We're planning for our staff workshop. Actually, new teacher workshop is on the 19th. Our staff should be back on the 21st. Our all-staff breakfast is on the 23rd. I'm working on a communication to go to staff hopefully tomorrow, but I'll share it with you. We are still on for that breakfast to be at the high school, but I'll make a final decision the week of the 19th. If we still have a few things happening in our high school renovation, I want to make sure that it's not noisy and interrupting. And if that's going to be the case, we'll just do it over at the middle school. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. But you can see just by all the dates and all the things, the next few weeks are going to be super busy. So mark your calendars. So I want to give you an update. It really has been an awesome summer. So I have some phase 1 updates. Just as a reminder, and as a board, you see this probably weekly, but I want to make sure that the public is able to really see this and process through some of the phase information. So with the 1970s renovation area, we remodeled, honestly gutted, took down walls, rebuilt 13 classrooms, our media center, art room, RTI rooms, several special education staff rooms, restrooms, flex areas, and truly more. That new 7 classroom addition was work that we added to phase 1. That wasn't going to be done until, who knows, it's going to be ready for the start of school. ELS and JES playgrounds, I was just over there at, 3 o'clock today. I have a really great video to send you that I'll do after the meeting. But I think they're going to be pouring the surface maybe tomorrow. And so those will be then done. And then the back drop-off area is another piece that we will use for parent pickup again for 1 more year. And then it will shift to its use after that. So I want to say some of these pictures are already outdated. These are from literally Thursday. But what you can see in the classroom renovations is what a classroom started like. You can see some of the middle process work. And on the end on Thursday, you can see the classroom with the cabinets installed, doors, the LVP underneath the cabinets, the carpeting, paint, media is set up, the lights, everything's in. So it's been quite a transformation in our classrooms. Here's another example of the renovations. You can see the media center. I think that was actually the first day of summer, that first picture. And then you can see kind of mid-process, and this was last week on the end. You can see the ceiling tiles are in, the ceiling grids. Painting is done. I think carpet starts Thursday in there. I think Thursday. And then it's really gonna look different. And then they'll be installing the bookcases and all of that. So I truly can't wait. Here's the 7 classroom edition. You probably all remember when they started pouring the footings, and I was kind of geeking out about it, very excited for the footings. Well, this edition went up like lightning fast. So you can see the second picture is some of the brickwork. I was over there today. That is almost done. I'm sure they'll be done tomorrow, like with the brickwork on that. The weather cooperated the last few days, so they were able to just hammer it out. And honestly, we couldn't have matched better with the brick that was selected for it. It looks awesome. You can see in the third picture, just, kind of a general look of what it looked like before it was framed. And then you can see here on the last picture, this was last week, cabinets, some of the ceiling tiles, some of the floor. I was just in there 3:30 today, and the classrooms they're done. We have the little like strips around the end that they'll be installing, so they'll be doing the finishing touches on all of that. And I would say late next week they'll be doing like the hallways, LVP, and all of that, assuming everything continues. So they're flying. So phase 1 focus at JHS. The new roof was completed ahead of schedule, which is awesome. They still continue to do some of the facade on the exterior. The new secure entrance and front office is a part of that. It had a slower start. We're still confident we'll finish on time, and on time means before kids show up. They'll be working probably through workshop week and all of that to get some things completed. Additional security technology will be installed or has been installed actually, in all of the exterior doors. That was a nice piece of that. All 8 of the front doors have been replaced already. And on an additional note, our annual facilities budget will allow for the middle school sometime this school year to also get that technology in our exterior doors, which will be great. Here's some pictures. You can see some of the early pictures when there was no framing or really no anything. It was when the wall started coming down. In the middle, you can see they were able to cut out. That's looking into the vestibule, like you'd normally walk in the front of the building. So that's standing in the reception area looking into the vestibule. You can see the glass window, the sight line on the right. And then the last picture is some of the framing. You can see the offices have been framed, the conference room's been framed. And I think tomorrow, is it tomorrow they're starting painting? I think tomorrow they're starting painting in the offices, so that's kind of flying too. Flooring probably next week. I think furniture probably around the 26th is kind of what we're looking at for that space. And again, these teams are working into the evenings. They're working Saturdays, Sundays, just to get things moving for us, which is really appreciated. So with additional phase 1 work that will continue, I've been calling it 1.5. That's just my name. It's not an official name, but it's things that we started during phase 1 that will continue through the school year. So our new gymnasium, that will continue through the school year. Our new cafeteria and commons area will continue through the school year. The new kitchen will continue, the loading dock, and then the new secure entrance and office area. Some of those things will be ongoing through the year, but it's very likely a lot of those will finish during the school year, and we'll be able to shift into those spaces mid-year. Just depending on how things go, but that's what it's looking like right now. So additional project updates, and you can see, I was just over there today too. This is standing at the new secure front entrance, that first picture. To the right would be going into the reception. Looking straight ahead is into the cafeteria commons. To the left, you can see the gymnasium, and what you can't see to the far left is looking into the new kitchen area. That second picture you can see is the new office area, up front reception, 3 offices. Where the brick wall is, that's nurse's office on that side. So they are just flying. Again, cafeteria commons, kitchen, outdoor seating, all of that. So the first picture is standing in the commons area. Yeah, that is the commons area. And then the second area there, where am I standing? Elise, where am I standing? In the office, thank you. And then the third, you can see the third picture. That's from the back, like the backyard of the school, looking at the cafeteria commons. So you can see there's 2 exits that go outside, and that will be outdoor seating area. Should accommodate up to a classroom which will be pretty nice. Gymnasium pictures you can see there, that was at the initial piece. And you can see they've leveled out things, they've been working on it. There's a good possibility around Labor Day they'll be pouring the cement, the first layer of cement in there.
What kind of floor is going in there?
Wood gym floor. So phase two, this is ongoing in school year. This is more of a reminder as a board, you've seen this, but I want to make sure the public is able to see this as well. So our phase two focus, and this is also going to be quite a big push. We have our early learning programs where we'll update classrooms. That dedicated kids company space is going to be really helpful, and it's really important to our programming. A reception area and secure front entrance for ELS will be a game changer. They've not had that before, and so that will be really nice because if you remember, their entrance also doubles as a loading dock. The garbage pickup is right there. There's a lot of things happening there, so it will be just exceptional for them to have that shift. The K1 edition will be updated next summer, and that would be flooring, wall paints, media technology, lighting, furniture. The original gymnasium will have an update. It'll be maroon and gold. We won't replace the floor or anything like that, but we'll be updating the color scheme in there and the sound barriers and taking out the old like half curtain that's been there, I think, forever. And then that wall that separates the stage, you know what I'm talking about, in the original gym, that will be an actual wall. So it won't be a stage anymore. Student support space, that's the original office area that will have a remodel. So a place for school social worker, behavior intervention support, school psych. Music classroom will have a huge update with storage places for the risers. Continued roof replacement, landscaping. The front area drop-off is also going to be a game changer for us. We will increase just the staging for cars, get it off of Sunset, and just expand parking. I honestly forget the number. I feel like it's over 70 new spaces, but I don't have it in front of me. And then also the city project in conjunction will happen next summer too. So again, standing in our new commons, you can see that ceiling also matches what's in the media center, that wood panel ceiling. You can see it's bright. We'll have all new lunch tables. I think they'll actually have black seats on that, but you'll be able to see where the J-Town Cafe, the kitchen is off to the left. There's that large hallway that goes straight to the loading dock where we'll be able to bring in pallets and have some staging area. That will be huge. And then way down on the left, you can see the gym space. There's two entrances to the gym. Straight on where you see the J, that's a screen. We'll be able to have staff meetings, different things in there. Groups can use that space and have presentations or whatever they need. And then there's those two exits that go out to the outdoor seating. On the right, where the kids are kind of congregated, there's two main flow hallways that go to the rest of the building, and then access to restrooms. Also in this picture, it's just another perspective, so you can see kind of those hallways I was telling you about a little bit more clearly with the restrooms, and then you can see kind of the space and the entrances to the gym a little bit more clearly, the water fill stations, all of that. Kitchen serving, again, this is going to be one of the biggest transformations for the elementary school. Just for our kitchen staff alone, this will be just a tremendous change for them. Having functioning new equipment, having space to move around will be really helpful. The volume of students they'll be able to serve will be improved. This will have a single point of sale, but we'll have the ability to shift to a second point of sale should we ever want to in the future. And they'll be able to run two lines through, which will be nice. Again, here's another shot of the kitchen. I literally can't wait for them. I think it's just going to be awesome. Here's a shot of our gymnasium. Things I'd point out on the left on the wall, you can see there's like the screen, the teaching space. I would say far down, straight down on the end, you see the door that's kind of on the left of the end there. That is access. We have 4 single stall restrooms over there. To the right, you can see a door that leads to storage. We have seating for, I think, 150 on those bleachers. We can fit a full regulation basketball, game on there, and then you can do volleyball, and I think volleyball can do 2 courts sideways. Here's the music room. You can see, again, very similar to the classrooms. We have a classroom standard in terms of color, the teaching wall being, the maroon color in that. But what I really appreciate about this space is really good storage on the end for the instruments, getting them off the ground. You can see there's a door there on the end that we actually can put risers into so they don't have to be stored in the classroom space, which leaves more room for dance or music or whatever. And then just major updates in storage. So very excited for this space. ELS reception, this is one thing that I mentioned earlier. I cannot wait for our ELS parents. This is, for many, the first time they've engaged with our district, to be able to have that welcome and have it in a reception space and not walk in and be not sure because there's brick ahead of you and on all sides and where do I go? Like, this is going to be tremendous for those families. Here's an example of a typical ELS classroom. Again, you can see the district standard in terms of carpet color, all of that. You can see the LVP kind of down by the sink spaces, cabinetry. One of the things I'd point out here too is, with the cubbies being elevated off the ground. That was a big piece of feedback so that the wet boots and things can be under. The cubbies are elevated, which will be, I think, really helpful. Also, updated furniture and seating for the kiddos. One thing that's important to remind folks, yep, the yard looks real rough right now, totally. It'll look better, I promise. We'll have a planting palette and make sure the landscaping is done. Actually, this week they're gonna be grading out some of the things and planting grass seed and all of that, but upon project completion, we'll have beautiful shrubbery and things like that. And then for trees, I get teased a lot about trees. For every tree that's removed, and yes, there will be more removed because we've got the ash borer or whatever that's called and all of that, so we'll be removing more trees, but I promise you we will plant 2 or more in every tree's place. So we're gonna have so many trees, it's gonna be amazing. So here's an example of them. And then in terms of general updates, I think it's important to note we're still in alignment with our budget parameters. We're still in alignment with the time, which you guys, people's projects aren't on time. Like, I've talked to more superintendents who are just absolutely shocked that we have been running on budget and on schedule. So that speaks really highly to the teams that we have over there, the people that are working together. The fact that we averaged between 700 and 900 hours a day of labor is unheard of. We've just had really great commitment to the project. And that's why we're still running on time and are going to be able to start school when we plan to start school. So throughout the phases of construction, as you've seen already, we've continued to provide updates. As we get them, we'll continue to do that throughout the process. And again, our Spark page has lots of information on it. People can go there at any time and look at that, and that's on our construction website too. So yeah, I think that's everything for general updates. Thank you to the board. Thank you to the community and really for everyone that's making this possible. It's been awesome. I will also say we do have folks that are on some of the construction teams that are Jordan graduates that I've been able to make a connection with, and it's just awesome. They have Jordan pride. It's cool. So. Yeah, one of them gridded out our whole elementary ceiling. I saw him today. I'm like, have you slept here for 2 weeks? And he probably did. Worked all weekend just to keep going. It's awesome. So thank you.
Questions for Renee? Comments?
I got a quick question.
Yeah.
So your phase 1.5, so that gets done in the spring, assuming it goes kind of according to plan.
Yeah.
Are we gonna try to open up any of those sections
Yeah.
of the elementary school?
We are. So the 1.5, the plan is please be done by the end of the school year, right? It's probably gonna be done way before that. And if it is, then we will transition into those spaces. Here's an example, front office. When that front office is done, we will definitely move our office to that new office and then start working on places we can quadrant off away from kids so we get a jump start on that ahead of summer. So there will be those kinds of things that will happen, that we will plan for. And it serves us well to get a jump start on things we can check off the list before summer. So, but I promise we'll keep you in the loop on that and keep staff in the loop, on what that looks like, because there will be things we'll have to figure out. And, you know, you always expect the unexpected too with construction, and want to make sure people are prepared for things. So I'm working on a communication, to go out tomorrow. Probably will link this slide deck for staff too. And one of the things that I'll share with them is, hey, we know that marker boards and bulletin boards are running late. They may get installed after school starts. We can live with that, but I don't want you shocked. You know, those are just little things that, I know there was a set of cabinets that didn't pass inspection leaving the factory, which thank goodness they check, right? Those cabinets will be installed whenever they rebuild them and we get them. And that'll be okay too. But that happens with construction. What's important is we communicate about it so people aren't surprised. And then we probably have a better chance of being more flexible. So, yeah, good questions.
Comments or questions?
Good update.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah,
Thank
sorry,
you, thank
I
you,
get
thank you.
excited. I
No,
just-
that was good. That was
Yeah.
exciting. Okay, next we are on to review and approve the staff handbooks. Mr. Visner, want to start?
Would you like that, or, would you like us to do both of them together, or do you want us to do just staff handbooks, 1, 2, 3, and then, because you have to approve them?
What's the
Two
board's
separate
wishes? Do
probably.
you want to do it together? We'll do it together.
Okay.
It's all right. Well, I will start out with this staff handbooks changes. Yep, that one right there. Pretty simple on the staff handbook. There's really not much to address or talk about, just change dates, change the cost for staff meals. There's really nothing in there in that one.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple, just standard changing dates and things like that. Any questions on that one at all? An adult lunch I know is $5 now.
What?
Yeah. That is not done by the districts, that's done by the state. The state determines that.
Yeah. They tell us what it costs.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah.
It is interesting, isn't it? Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, some districts, if you did like lunch duty or whatever, like you would get your lunch for free, or, you know. I don't
Yeah.
know. I just think it should be like a perk that staff has, like, for at least cheaper.
As a person who does lunch duty every day, I agree.
I would love an optimum pay for my lunch.
Some do, if you go out to eat, don't they pay, like,
No.
if you go on a business meal or whatever?
You gotta go to Google.
See, business meal they do.
That's a once in a blue moon type thing,
Yeah, those
not a,
kids,
like
those
a.
kids make you work 95 hours.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm
somebody's
just,
going.
I'm not, I'm just saying, I think it should be
I
cheap
mean,
or free.
someone is paying for it. It's not free.
Right.
I wonder what it's like for the people that work from home.
Yeah.
Does that count as getting your meals paid for then? If you bought the
Paying
groceries?
for my lunch
All
meal.
right, just checking.
It's leftovers.
All right. So that's it for staff handbook changes. I'm sorry, I'm assuming that Tony also eats lunch, or you do too, so.
We
You
bring
can,
our
you can
own.
write to MDE about that one.
Yeah.
Student handbook changes. There's a little bit more here, so I want to touch on these and really want to hit some highlights. One question that we get quite often, the second one there, page 7, academic awards. People say, yeah, but my GPA went up from 3.7 in the spring from end of first semester to 3.8. Why don't I get different color codes? We tabulate all of those at the semester. Everything's done at the end of first semester because we just can't predict, and we also get in like PSEO grades like the day we're graduating. And so it's just not feasible to do that. We did change the name of our, this is kind of a larger one, and since most of you have had students in the high school, we changed from SNAP to JWIN to coordinate with both the elementary and the middle school. So our time after second hour, we call JWIN, which is just what I need. And it's really finding that what students need. And sometimes they might need mental break, sometimes they might need to do homework, sometimes they might just need to put their earbuds in and just relax. It's also a time for us to meet with students. So that's a little change this year. Other one that's new and will affect some of your students potentially. We are adding, we've met and we've looked at some other districts, and we're one of the few districts that only honors our seniors with our National Honor Society, meaning they get in at the end of their junior year and then it's all their senior year. And many of the schools around us start with their junior year. So we've already informed all of our 2025 graduates, and they know that they're in. And then we're going to have our ceremony with the 2026s combined in November. And then we'll go on to a cycle where we will continue. So juniors will also have that opportunity to learn what it means for service learning and all of those pieces. And the standard for juniors will be higher than what it will be for seniors. So it's kind of a higher bar to be in it for 2 years versus 1 year. Any questions on that one? Okay. The other big pieces, this page 11 one on PSEO that I think is really important. PSEO classes. We have almost every year we'll have students that are failing a class, don't show up for a class, don't do anything with their PSEO class, and then drop it and don't understand why they're getting an F on their transcript. So we just became much more clear about that. They get a W in their college transcript because they withdraw, because you can withdraw like at Normandale up to like the last week and get a W. Well, we don't think that's fair for a kid to, you know, if a student was in our classes at the high school, they couldn't go all semester and then the last week drop it and get a W. We don't have such a thing. So we're just making it very clear that if a student does that with their PSEO class, they're getting an F on their Jordan High School transcript and all of the repercussions of that. Also just some clearing up of when they need to apply for PSEO classes. Probably the biggest one, and I want to spend a little bit more time on this, actually two there. Page 13, really excited about our work-based learning classes. It's really, I just had a great conversation with a local business owner today who will have a student. So students that want to do the work-based learning and the work experience classes, they have to take a class. So 7th hour, they'll take a class, and it'll be on all the work skills and all the different things. And this could be for anything from a professional job to a technical job to, I don't know, any kind of job really, where they are getting paid. So they take the training with Mr. Sand, and then whether their schedule works out that they are in the morning they want to work or the afternoon, but they can change their class schedule, or we can put their class schedule in to have that work experience in there. And so students will have that opportunity to not only make some money, but also get high school credit. It used to be called work release, no high school credit to that. So we've changed it all to work experience. And so they will have to do a set number of hours to earn the credit. And they will also get the opportunity to get some more feedback. And Mr. Sand will also work with those business people to make sure they're doing well. So they could be working at the CERC, they could be working for Kids Co. They could be, we have a student who's working as a custodian for us. So he could get credit to maybe work in the mornings and to help clean up before school starts or after school, and even get some of his classes so he could leave like 8th hour to start working and cleaning for the school.
If a student has more than one job, would the work study apply for both jobs? Or like say one is working at the CERC and one is working at Chipotle? He doesn't work there anymore, but Chipotle.
It's a great question. I wouldn't see why not.
Okay.
I don't see why not. Yeah. Yep. And, you know, let's say that they were working at Chipotle and those hours were 5 to 10. He could still, you know, we're envisioning maybe somebody that's, they're not supposed to work past 10, I don't think, at under 18, but let's say that they're working from 5 to 11. And so instead, maybe they get first hours off because they're just going to sleep in instead. You know, so there's some flexibility in where that work experience can be. They don't have to be in work experience at 2 to 4 or whatever. Does that make sense? So there's some flexibility with that.
Is there minimum hours?
There is. I don't know them off the top of my head, but in order to earn the credit, I don't know why I have this in my head, but I think it's 80 hours for a half a credit, and it's like 160 hours for a full credit.
Oh, okay, so there's
Yep.
flexibility doing it.
Yep, but it doesn't go past 1 credit per semester.
Got it.
Yep. Yeah. Good question though, Lauren. Then probably the biggest one is just talking about cell phones. And I sent this out in the letter to families. And you've probably seen through social media, everybody doing kind of different things. We are really we have a policy in place. We are just going to follow it better. All right? And so we're going to do our best. Thank you for clapping. Please be supportive of us when we start getting the pushback too.
I created a little bit of a seismic undercurrent in our Langheim household.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm excited.
Yep. So the
I read
basic.
that out loud to Briggs as well. I was
Yes.
like, oh, look what came.
So I will be sending out a secondary email with just the rationale too. And this is all based on research that was shared with us from our principals group, but improving academic performance, enhancing mental health, creating a better classroom environment, and supporting effective teaching. And in the same vein, this is only as good as our parents, our students, and our teachers support it. We have been very clear in our 2 preschool meetings here, our flex meetings with teachers, that we've got their back. And if that means that first hour of the day we're going around and collecting 27 phones, we'll collect 27 phones. But we'll get the point across, and it'll take some time. And one of the big pieces will be for parents not to be texting their kids during the day then too. You know, they'll have them between classes, and they'll have it at lunch, they'll have it before school, after school, but during class time and instructional time, phones should be away. Electronic devices should be away. Headphones should be out.
How you handle these?
We're gonna ask them to put those away too.
Good.
So, that'll be trickier, because that's so much easier to hide.
Yeah.
But we're gonna do our best.
Yep.
Because what we see is, even if their phone's away and their phone is on, it's just gonna buzz. For some of them, like I don't have anything except text on my that clicks off, but like my wife has everything on hers, and so it's just I don't know, just a difference. I did in the public meeting. I don't think she knows how to turn those things off. So that's probably the biggest one, and it's going to be a work in progress. We felt like we didn't feel like going all the way to the point without student feedback and without more conversation. We didn't feel like going to that place where they're just absolutely in lockers again. I think our kids carry backpacks. We understand that, and we've really just pushed the teachers. We support you in it, and we're going to help you out in it, and we just need to follow it. Same thing's going for attendance too, and we hope that the roads are clear at the beginning of the year so we can start on time and get kids to start on time. He wasn't alone. And the way we started school this year with the traffic, we just never got a handle on it, and I'm hoping that the entrance is done and we can move forward really quickly. But we have some plans for that too. So those are the major changes. Any questions, comments, concerns, thoughts? I appreciate your support in the cell phone. I know it's going to be hard, but I think it'll also be, I think they'll realize what it can mean for them to be more connected. And our teachers will have to go back to telling kids not to pass notes. Because there's always going to be something, right?
You guys, just out of curiosity,
Yeah.
page 33, because that's kind of talking about ChatGPT.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Is that going to be something that you're going to be talking about, appropriate use of how to use it, how
Yes.
you don't use it, that whole piece?
Yep. So the first week of school during J-Win time, well, on Tuesday, we'll just have 9th grade. So we'll meet with them and talk to them about that very clearly. Then on Wednesday, we meet with 10th grade, then 11th grade, then 12th grade. We meet with each class individually, and we go over all of these things. We'll talk about the cell phone policy. We'll talk about AI and the use of AI. And I know that we as educators need to get better on how we're teaching how to use it. And I know that some teachers have already made some adjustments to that. And then on the things that are appropriate and inappropriate and teaching proper use of it. I mean, it's, I don't want to say it's not going to go away, but, I remember going to school with no calculators, and then we had calculators. And, history, I taught history, and history has completely changed, and what are the important things, and it's become more about critical thinking and less about memorizing who the 15th president of the United States is, or the capital of Delaware, which is Dover. by the way.
Dover.
Dang it, Deb, you beat me to it. I was just going to show off my vast knowledge. Yes. So thank you for asking that too. Yeah. Any other questions at all? Otherwise, we're excited to get going. every year's a new year, every year's a new adventure. Where we have one graduating from the board this year. One? Only?
Mine.
Oh,
No. Kids graduating,
kids,
just one.
yeah.
Just
I've
Lauren.
got one
Right?
grandson.
And one
Lauren?
that's right. Lauren. Junior, yeah, okay. All right. Excellent. Thank you.
Good, thank you, Jeff. This is an action item, so I'll entertain a motion to approve both the staff and the student parent handbooks for the high school.
Motion to approve.
Molly, is there a
second. Jenny, a second.
Jenny seconds, discussion. Thanks, Jeff, for your work on that. Good changes and very clear, thank you. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Bakeberg.
How's it going, everyone? Good to be here with you. I want to recognize before I jump into this, we have a new custodian, Andy Brigham, and he's just knocking it out of the park. So he's doing a fantastic job. Renee shared in her update just about how busy the middle school has been. So Andy and Dan have been just doing an amazing job along with the rest of the custodial staff. So I want to recognize them. So our faculty handbook update's very similar to Jeff. The biggest things that I really wanted to highlight center around a new tardy process. Some of our kids got very comfortable just walking into class whenever they wanted to, and we needed to tighten it up as adults. So what you're going to see, it's two-prong, but the first 10 minutes, the last 10 minutes, we're not giving students passes in class. We want to maintain that academic time. So obviously if there's an emergency, something happens, they're going to get a pass. And then there will be kids that manipulate that, but generally first 10 minutes, last 10 minutes, there's no passes. And then the big thing that we're going to talk about from a middle school standpoint are what are those tried and true practices? What are those things that we know work well that we just have gotten away from for whatever reason? So one of those is greeting kids at the door. So it's a positive interaction every day with every kid, every hour. So what I've told staff is my expectation is you're standing at the door and you're greeting kids. When the bell rings, you walk inside, you shut your door. And then if the kids are late, they will not be allowed in the room. They will go in, we'll have an adult in the pod, we'll mark them down as tardy, and then they will be let in right away. We will have habitual students that struggle with this, but the hope is that early on, we're going to have a lot of kids, and then they figure it out, and then they adjust their patterns. So those are two big things. So you may hear, oh, my kid got the door shut in their face. Yep, they were late for class. So they need to show up to class on time. And we're going to be better as adults about passes and making sure the kids have passes and all of that stuff. So those are the tardy process pieces I wanted to touch on. The other thing is around late work. So we've always had the expectation from our staff that they update their assignments that are turned in within a week. So we're being very clear with staff that's not the goal a week. Like that's as long as it should go for you to put an assignment into the grade book. Like you have a prep time, use that prep time, get the information in so that parents can know what's going on. But one of the things that's really frustrating is that kids, deadlines are debatable for some kids. And then we'll often hear that if I'm in Renee's class and I give her my assignment and it's 3 weeks late, well, my mom said I need to turn this in if I want to go out tonight, so you got to grade this right now. So we're just being very clear and very explicit that late work will be graded within a week. And frankly, it'll probably be a week from now. So if you turn it in on Monday, it'll be a week from now that it's into the grade book. So if you want your assignment, if you're worried about that, then you need to turn it in on time. It's just that simple. So, and like Jeff, we'll meet with grade levels, we'll walk through all of these expectations and be very clear. That's good practice. That's a tried and true practice, and that's what we need to be teaching kids to be doing. We're going down to 2 lunch periods, so early in the year, there's going to be some hiccups with the lunch line. There always is every year. I want to remind everyone of that. especially our fifth grade kids. It's new for them, the process. So Kelly and Karen have kind of reworked some things, and the flow will be better. We'll have 2 cashiers, so that will help. But early on, there's always a hiccup in the lunchroom with just kids figuring out how to move through the line. So that will be a natural thing. We're shifting to 2 lunch periods. We used to have 3, and 5th and 6th grade have always eaten together, and then 7th and 8th grade were separate. We're joining those from just a utilization of space, and it frankly gives our custodians more time to be out and about and do other things in the building. So that's the big shift. Technology is another thing that we're going to be very, very diligent with, and like the high school, a lot of it comes down to we need to follow through as adults on the expectations that are already in our handbook. So, and it pertains to cell phones, it pertains to earbuds, whatever you want to call them, and then watches. If it becomes a distraction, a cell phone or a watch, then we're going to take it. The kid will get it back the first time, and then from then on, a parent will have to come and pick it up. If it becomes a pattern, the phone isn't the issue. It moves into an insubordination issue where the kid is just not going to follow the direction. So we will handle that differently. We'll handle that from a discipline standpoint and getting parents involved in that. So the whole purpose of all of those changes is to just get back to things that work, to support our kids, to support our teachers, so that teachers can teach and kids can learn. So that's the faculty handbook one. Very similar for the parent-student one as well. So one of the things, the high school actually had better language than we did. I hate to give Jeff too much credit there. But just about the expectations for what's my expectation as the building administrator, what's a teacher's expectation, what's the parent's role, and what's a kid's role in the whole attendance process. And then we tweaked just the unexcused absent process, making that very clear. And even Melissa and I were talking about this afternoon. If a kid is gone for 50% of the time, whether it's excused or unexcused, how do we give that kid credit for the class? Like, those are some conversations that honestly, from a policy standpoint, we need to continue to have. I talked about the tardy procedure piece, cheating and plagiarism, that aligns with where the high school is at, and then the technology issues are the same between the 2 handbooks. So with that, I just open it up for any questions.
I had a question.
Yeah.
When you're doing new student orientation, are you going to be discussing with the parents the whole thing with the phone usage and all that stuff in all of those meetings?
Yep, so we have a meeting, I think it's 5 o'clock on open house night. There will be a bunch of 5th grade parents there, and then there won't be many other parents. And then we have a couple weeks into the school year, we added a curriculum night last year, and 6th grade had a ton of people because they embedded Wolf Ridge into it, but then we had about 5 or 6 families from each grade level where we just are very, very transparent with what we're teaching, what's being talked about. So all of the technology pieces will be updated, and then we'll communicate, emails and newsletters, and we'll probably do a video update as well.
Okay.
Is your meeting on the 28th different from your meeting last spring?
We'll add more of this stuff into it, but it'll be a similar, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
For the absences, is that per semester or is that the whole school year?
Semester.
Other questions? Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the middle school handbooks.
Motion to approve.
Sarah, is there a second?
Second.
Second, Lauren, discussion? Thank you, Ben. For the changes, yes. All those in favor of approving signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Elementary.
Hello, everybody. Many of my changes and revisions and additions, you probably have seen already in the high school and the middle school. I wanted to bring attention to some of the things that are obviously different, or we're going to be spending a little bit more time on with the staff handbook. One of the things I wanted to point out was classroom expectations. You know, Ben kind of referred to getting kind of back down to what works and some of those consistencies and making sure staff's all on the same page. So part of our flex day, summer days have been in the afternoon, our behavior team facilitating, you know, what are those standard tier 1 practices that we want to see for all of our kids in the classroom? What is it that they need to be doing in classroom, in the school, so that the language is the same and kids and families know what's expected. Many of these things also hinge on our construction project. And, you know, you saw the update from Renee as far as all of the things going on. This is now how we operationalize it. So some of it is figuring out probably tomorrow what some of these things look like. Renee and I have been working in kind of general statements with staff because we haven't had some of the specifics and we don't want to give any misinformation or mislead staff. So one of the things is dismissal in regards to the procedure in the back. Even though we will still be doing pickup and drop off in the back loop, it's going to look somewhat different. Elise is working with ISG. She's got a map that we'll be putting out to families to make sure that they're clear on that safety procedure in the back of the building for one more year, and then things change. We wanted to make it similar to years past, so because everybody kind of has that muscle memory developed for that, but it's definitely going to look different back there with the way it's gone through its construction phase this summer. One of the things that comes with the project too is just updating our evacuation maps. You know, when the new gym is all finished, that's going to be our go-to place for everything for evacuation. For this last year, we still have to have kind of a map for what do we do in the interim. So that's something that'll be addressed this year, and like I said, you know, temporarily until the new gym is all completed, because then everybody will go there for their storm shelter. And then also knowing that once the building's done, some of us will have different evacuation routes for fire drills. So those are things that will have to continue to be talked about. Another thing with field trips is we've had some families that have opted out for our field trips for various reasons, but we don't want it to be a hardship for them, meaning that if they choose to not go to an event, that they can still come to school and we'll have an alternate activity. We'll do our best to have it age appropriate, developmentally appropriate for those students. We just don't want it to be that families feel like they have to keep their child home unless they want to, because some families choose to do that as well. So we just made sure that was clear for our staff as they were communicating out to families. Lunch, we have been partnering with Scott County, so our staff voted on having kind of a green team at the elementary school where our students will be able to participate in more of a kind of a deeper knowledge and level of learning with the solid waste management program that's offered. So Crystal from DEMCON has been working with our students and staff, and she's planning on doing that again this year. So she'll be more involved with that. And then looking at some of the other things, one thing to note, along with non-exclusionary discipline practices that was really heavily embedded into the elementary this past year with legislation, we know that for some students, and quite frankly, their families agree, it's sometimes better for them to be out of the classroom for their dignity, for them to reboot, for them to have time to just get themselves in a better place to rejoin their peers. And we also are a restorative practices school. So part of it is being able to follow through that process, and sometimes that means the kids have to be out of the room. But yet we are also bound to legislative mandates with that, so we created a structured day format. And what that is that it's not an in-school suspension. It may look similar to that, but there's actually some very intentional things going on with those kids rather than them being put aside and just given work in my office to do from their teacher. What it is we're structuring their day depending on what their needs are. If their really tough time is during Phy Ed, we might not have them in Phy Ed because we're teaching them behavior strategies and things that they can do to self-regulate if Phy Ed's really difficult, rather than forcing them to be in that space that they're not ready for. It might be a half a day there with the behavior specialist because they are really, for whatever reason, sometimes there's a lot of stuff going on in their home environment and they have not transitioned well from the morning to the classroom. So it's better for them to start their day with one of us on the behavior team in a structured format that's teaching them and giving them tools that they then apply when they go to their classrooms. So Shakopee Public Schools actually reached out to me. They're interested in learning more about what that looks like in our school. Belle Plaine, same thing. So we might have some partnerships to just share what are the things that we're providing for our littles when we know the classroom is too overwhelming for them to be there. Anything else in the staff handbook? I think everything else is pretty self-explanatory.
Can you scroll up for a minute? I did have a question. I gotta find it though, up a little more. The dismissal, the revised times process, what is meant by tier 1 and tier 2 process?
So what that means is the bus company this past school year, they always do their double routes. So they might do 2 runs to Valley Green, 2 to Bridle Creek. So we've labeled them as tier 1. What is the first wave of buses that come to the school first? That's tier 1. Tier 2 is the second wave. Sometimes it's the second route. Sometimes it's a later route because they're dropping kids off from the middle school and high school. So it's just a staging system that the bus company has worked out with us.
Okay.
Good question.
I had another question, sorry. On field trips, the students that are if there are students that are staying back, we're customizing a day for them is kind of what my interpretation was, versus just putting them into a different classroom with a different teacher?
It depends. It depends on what's happening in our school for that day. More than likely, let's say if it's a first grader that's not able to go on the field trip or their families choose not to, we might have them in a kindergarten room as maybe some sort of a, might be with their former kindergarten teacher, because we also know that that's hard to just step into a classroom that you don't know the teacher and the students. It might be that our behavior team, we have a couple people on staff that have a lighter day, so to speak, for a schedule. So they might have gotten work from the teacher that allows them to be able to maintain some of that academic and behavioral support if they're gone and their peers are gone and they're left at school. So it just kind of depends on what's going on. It might be something related to the field trip that's still enhancing their learning, but maybe they're doing reading about if they're, for example, at the Minnesota Zoo, that might be animal related, so that it's similar to what they're missing, but nothing different or totally brand new that would offset their schedule when the rest of their peers come back and join them the next day.
Okay.
Will parents have to designate that they're going to do that? They don't want their child to go on the field trip, but they want them to stay at school that day, so you can plan ahead?
Yeah, usually it's on the field trip form or it's
Yeah.
communicated to the teacher.
Okay.
Yeah. And then that teacher lets the office, usually it's they let me know, so
Yeah.
then we can plan for that.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? Okay. On to your other one.
For the family student handbook, we have, some things are similar. They're parallel to the staff handbook. One of the things that's different, we had a really good conversation as an administrative team. Jenna and Renee and I did it in regards to early entrance to kindergarten. What we were finding is that some of our families who wanted to go that route had some misconceptions and perhaps some things that were leading them to make that decision, and really trying to help obviously support them and support their child's needs, but yet making sure that they were making an informed decision and that we had all the data to support one way or the other. So what we did is we changed the date primarily for eligibility. When we did that date change, we looked at a lot of districts that had, really October 1st was probably, I would say, the average date from many of the districts we looked at compared to where ours was. And then just being clear in our procedures and process. Jenna, part of her portion, she helped create an application for families who are interested in pursuing this. And then being clear in our website, the criteria and then the procedures we would use for that assessment. So it wasn't any surprise to families when they requested this or wanted this considered. It was very transparent about what that looked like. And then just cleaning up the policy, and that'll go through the policy committee, and some of you will see it firsthand and have some maybe conversation at that point. The other thing to note is, Ben and Jeff talked about attendance. One of the things that has been really difficult, and I don't know if it's maybe a product of COVID or what has happened, but for some reason we have some families, not many, but a few families who just are struggling with seeing the value of their little going to school every day. And it might be because they have family things that are going on in their home that require them to all leave and go somewhere. Or it might be that they don't have daycare and they have had some event that it's taken place and they don't have a way for them to pick their child up or meet them at the bus stop at the end of the day or get them on the bus at the start. And it's been really challenging because it's a significant amount of time. Ben talked about we might have to look at some policy changes around, state law. I talked with Ben about this as a legislative member. State law doesn't require children to be in attendance at school legally until age 7. And for some of our kids, that's the middle or end of first grade. So for families who are struggling with that or know that law, we've had families who choose not to send their child to kindergarten, which is their choice. But what happens is they come to first grade missing those key foundational skills that then families get confused as to why they're struggling as a first grader. Same thing with attendance and promoting them. When we have a child who's missed, over half of their third grade year, and to be able to say, confidently that we can promote you to fourth grade when we know that there's so many skills that you're lacking, and that's really doing a disservice to that student. And those are really hard conversations to have with families. So at some point, I think it's worth our time and energy to talk about what that attendance and truancy and what those things and the impact they are having on our students, and what does that mean for us as a district. Any other questions regarding families and student handbook?
So Melissa, in that case, do they actually hold the students back?
We have.
If they have.
There usually has to be a significant kind of overall team decision that's made. I just don't make that decision. It's the classroom teacher, it's the other support staff that work with that child. It's looking at all of the data we've collected about that child over the time that they're in our school. It's definitely involving the parents. We have some parents who have actually requested that because they know their kid best and they see this as an opportunity for them to maybe catch up now versus later when the stakes are higher. So I think some of that, but it definitely is a team effort, and it has happened.
Good. And with the early entrance policy, moving that date up, but you still have testing criteria? You don't just, they don't just apply and say they want to do it? You still have testing criteria?
No, we vetted it now through a lot more steps as far as just making sure we're getting all of the best information we can get from the families and that background. The assessment's a big part of it, looking at that and compiling all that data together.
Thank you.
And I'd just jump in and say procedurally, our next step is policy committee meeting on that. And then we'll provide an update to the board on that work. And this is something, honestly, that Jenna, Melissa, and I have been talking about probably over 2 years. And, just experiencing that process firsthand, which was important to me to see how that plays out here in Jordan, I think we will have a far better process to support our students in that.
And then your cell phone policy will be in line with the other schools?
Yeah, and it's so hard. Gosh, I hear what Jeff and Ben are going through. I have a 22 and 19-year-old that have gone through the high school, and I've had those battles in my house too at night. And it's, gosh, it is trickling into the elementary school. We have more of the watch, and it is more, like Jeff said, it's the families that are texting their kid during the day. How are you? What's going on? Or they're on the bus, or they're in the lunchroom, they're on the playground, or the kid is used to being in that immediate response world of like, oh, I just thought of this, I need to let my parents know. And when it disrupts the teaching and learning, we have taken some of those items away. Kids at the elementary are a little bit more willing to listen to the adults as far as, I can even give a kid a look who might be doing something on their watch and they pretty much stop immediately. But as far as cell phones, kids have been pretty good about keeping them in the backpacks. And most of the time it's because their parents want them safe. So they might have a phone in their backpack so that if they get off the bus and they're home by themselves for a short time, they can text and say, yep, I'm home, I got here, everything's good. So we want to honor that. But kids have been pretty good about not bringing them out, and our teachers have been pretty diligent with requiring that, so we haven't had too many issues.
Other questions?
Thank you.
Okay, if not, thank you, Melissa. I'll entertain a motion to approve the elementary handbooks.
Motion to approve.
Lauren, is there a second?
I'll second.
Jenny, discussion? Thank you, all of you, for your work on the handbooks. I know it's not easy. So, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, athletic handbook.
John is at the PAC meeting, so I'm helping out, but this should not take long at all. As you'll see, probably the first 8 or 9 are all on page 3. They're all just cleaning up pieces of the academic process for students being eligible academically. And so it's just cleaning up all the academic support steps and some of the wording because there is some confusion there. So not much there. Probably the biggest one that he wanted me to mention was page 7, just amended some language regarding signs, and signs are for supporting our team only. So there shouldn't be any signs that are criticizing opponents or anything that doesn't deal with our own teams and supporting our teams for signs. Yeah, yes. I think you can know where that could be leading us to. So, and those of you that lived through that don't want to live through that again.
That's right.
Yes. The other ones added some activity fee things, updated trainers' names, and then just some things about violations if you had a second chemical violation and how that affects captaincy. So, but that's kind of on hold until some things get cleaned up in our own policy on that one. So that's it for John's. Pretty simple.
Do they have a new athletic trainer?
They do. I don't know what his name is though, but yep, he has made it through day 1.
That's good.
So that's
Good.
woo.
Good. That's a
Yes.
big deal.
Yes, and he was at some events over the summer too, a
Okay.
couple different things.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think he's gonna be here for a while. Yeah. If not, you'll know.
I will. I'll be covering more events next time.
Yes. Yeah. So any questions on athletics and activities?
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve. Motion to approve. Molly, is there a second?
I'll second.
Corinne, any further discussion or questions? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Jeff. Okay, on to board and administrative reports, superintendent's report.
Okay. All right, so for our August 12th report, I would just like to, again, recap with the sharing our story, just a reminder about deadlines for board elections. The filing period tomorrow expires at 5 p.m. The final opportunity to withdraw is the 15th. and that is the last opportunity to get a name off the ballot. We have 3 seats up in this election cycle. School updates and summer planning, just a note and reminder that our district calendar is available on the website, and we always encourage families to go take a look at that. Families will receive communications with that important information really throughout August. Please look for those messages. One of the communications I've already referenced is being sent tomorrow on the annual verification. So I keep hammering that home, but it is super important we have accurate contact information for every family, and we do need every single family to do it. Registration for the school year is still open. We do encourage families to register as soon as possible, especially for those kindergarten kiddos or new families to the area. It's super important for us to be able to staff appropriately. So, you know, that's a piece. I think right now we have 107 kindergartners registered. So we'd love to, if we have kids out there that are going to be registering, let us know, because it will make a difference in terms of our staffing. Families of incoming kindergarten students. Also, the other critical piece of that is we want to be able to invite you to our countdown to kindergarten and all of those informational pieces and Kickstart. So definitely we'll help you register. Just get a hold of us. Building projects update, I did share that more in depth with everyone. And in terms of enrollment, I monitor it multiple times a day. Honestly, we're doing better than I thought we would be doing with enrollment. I think my last number had us around 70 additional students. So I need to verify that. It doesn't include any of the dropped students, just so you know. Like, I won't know that for a while, who's dropped and who's requesting records or any of that. But I'm very pleased with the amount of students that have enrolled in Jordan Public Schools this summer. So, and that's what I've got.
Okay, any questions?
I had one, it left my brain. Can you scroll up a little bit so I can just see if it refreshes my memory?
Oh, I had one too.
Oh, good.
What happens if you don't have 3 people apply to be on the board?
We have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then never mind.
Yeah, but honestly, I've not experienced that before. I'm sure there's an answer that MSBA would have for us. I haven't experienced it.
There are districts where they have nobody filing for the positions, and they said even if you write in one name, if you write in Corinne Hannon is it, as a write-in.
Oh,
Yeah.
Even if you don't want to do
even if you don't want to do it.
You can just put anyone's name. Santa Claus?
Good Lord.
Could you imagine?
You get
Yeah, we talked about it
voted.
at summer seminar last week. There
Oh,
are
gosh.
districts that are really struggling because they cannot find anybody to run.
How many sections did we end up with in first grade? And I'm sorry I interrupted you, but if it
Nope.
would have left that was one of my questions. I had a second question too.
Yeah, I want to say
Is it's 5 or 6?
5 or 6. I would say 6.
Okay.
But yeah, I think we're right now at first.
Kindergarten.
We're at 5 right now.
I meant
Kindergarten or
kindergarten.
first? You said first.
said 5. I was reading.
I'll just, yeah, right now, kindergarten, we are looking at 5. It's going to depend on if we get 6, 7 more kids, if we go back to 6.
Okay.
But yeah, first grades all the other grades are consistent with 6 or 5. You're totally right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I
that
can't-
is related to my other question, but it was on the elementary. Do I need to wait for the elementary update?
Maybe I can answer it. Otherwise, just
Okay.
email me.
I was just wondering what 3rd grade was at, because it said 136 with 5 sections, which is like 27 in a room,
Mm-hmm.
which I thought is like super high.
It's not, but yeah, it's pretty average for everywhere in the area, and it's within our parameters.
What number do we make another, do you know?
I've done it around 28,
Okay.
29 per room. It just depends, but we're actually looking pretty good.
Okay. My concern is that that's high, and that 3rd grade is the age you want them reading by, so like,
Yeah, no, I get it.
I would love
But
to see another
just
section, I guess.
perspective, there are many districts that 34 is the cutoff for 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. So
And
we
that's-
actually are pretty good.
And that's in line with what our criteria is.
It
So,
is.
I mean, it's not like it's out
Yeah.
of line.
Yeah.
It's not over our minimum threshold.
Yeah. No, we're still in alignment. And again, We have been in a better position in our district than other districts too, because as budgets have looked bumpier in other districts, it does impact class size. And so there are some that are far higher than where we are. But I'm so glad you asked, because it's important to be able to clarify
Well, I know
that.
those are like the two that was like kindergarten and third grade were like the two that
Yeah.
were like.
I think we've had
watching.
more second graders enroll than any grade. Actually, I can look here. We've only had 4 new third graders enroll this summer. We've had 7 second graders and 6 first graders. But I don't know how many have dropped, so
Yeah.
that I won't know right now. But yeah, third grade's looking good.
Good. Any other questions?
It was
Okay.
my brain. I can't remember. If I think of it, I'll
Yeah,
email
just
you.
ask.
Okay, any comments or questions on any of the other administrative team reports? Good information as always. Okay, if not, we'll move on to committee reports and board reports. Committee reports, budget finance, no. Calendar, no. City school, our meeting is coming up.
September
Yeah, we also,
14th or something. I'll look.
when do we have
We,
the 16th is, that's not our regular night. So that will be our full
Yep.
city council and full school board meeting. So make
Yep.
sure you have that on your calendars.
What day is that?
September 16th, 6:30 to 8:30.
it should already
And
be
where
on
are
your
we-
calendars.
Are we meeting up here?
Yeah, you're already all invited.
September 16th?
Yeah.
And then,
I got it. It's on my calendar.
when is our next, just
Yeah.
our committee?
Rob and Sarah,
You guys
you
trying
have
to
to
disinvite me?
accept. but-
What time is it at?
accept that you.
You just
You
have to
have to
accept,
accept
it'll
it.
show up.
Oh, I'm
6:30?
sorry, I'm looking at my work.
It's
calendar.
at
Oh.
6:30.
It's on my.
6:30.
6:30.
Why didn't you send it to his work? Come on.
No,
I don't know.
Carolyn, she does. No, it's awesome. It's great.
Okay.
It's just not on this one.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, mine's on my other one.
I'm so sorry.
Well, and our next one is just our committee, the city school committee and city school, or the school board committee is set for October 14th, which is Columbus Indigenous Day.
We can still meet.
We can?
Yep.
Okay, I can't remember what we decided.
Yep, we
there.
can.
Okay, so that's the 14th, so make sure you have the full committee one on your agenda. Should
October
be a good
14th.
one.
Yep.
Lots of changes.
That's the,
Ugh,
that's
that's
the
my
regular meeting.
anniversary.
Yeah. Yeah.
The city school one, is that one gonna be here, or where's that one gonna be?
Yeah, we're gonna probably start here and then we'll probably tour
Oh, cool. Okay.
over at the buildings.
Great. Okay, community ed rec, Lauren or Corinne?
We meet Monday.
Okay, curriculum, we have not met, we'll be meeting again in September, I believe. Facilities, no. Meet and confer, no. Negotiations, we cleared that up tonight. We're done for a little bit
We
till
have
we
one
start
more
again.
group, principals.
Oh,
They're coming.
okay,
They're coming. That'll be probably September. We gotta get through all this.
okay.
Yeah.
Policy, we did have a policy meeting, what was that, 2 weeks ago? And
Yep.
you saw the effect of that in our consent agenda tonight. We bulldozed our way through many, many policies, so it was good. Okay, APAC, we have not met. Booster Club, Sarah and Rob.
I did not go to Lostford's, had his surgery.
I have nothing to report. I don't know.
Okay. Ed Foundation? Tomorrow. God, our meetings are just all at the wrong place. We're just ahead of the game here. Legislative, let's see. Yeah, it'll be an interesting year again legislatively, seeing, especially after the election, seeing how things play out. So, stay tuned for that. And Lauren, I think you're still a delegate for Delegate Assembly, right? Was that a 2-year appointment for both of us?
Yeah.
So will the traveling advocacy tour thing, you'll be coming up, I think, the first part of September, so. we'll
Would I
talk
be
about
able to
that.
add something to?
Absolutely.
So, after scale, and I'll, give the update for scale too, we eventually hear, but, they are also pulling together the legislative platform. So one of the things that I have mapped out for our work session on the 26th is just to talk about, things that we might want to, advocate for on the platform. I have a summary document that other schools have been filling in from Southwest Metro about things that they're thinking about might be good for us to advocate for. So I'll bring that and we can talk about that a little bit on the 26th. So if you have items, you know, think about that and we can talk through it.
Okay. MSHSL, nothing there other than gearing up for the fall activities. There are going to be some changes. The Region 2 AA committee is meeting with the activities directors. I think it's this coming week, and then when we have our committee board meeting in a couple weeks, we'll be talking about some changes to some of the athletic events. So, Lauren Scale, our superintendent.
I was
events.
out of town, so I didn't
I
attend.
went on Friday morning. The city of Belle Plaine hosted the meeting, and they talked a little bit about things that are happening in their community. They shared examples of their finished downtown project. Sounds like they're building some kind of an apartment complex that should help their tax base in their community. And then I think Dollar General or one of those dollar stores, they're excited about that. I don't know which kind.
Dollar General.
Okay, opened up there. And they're happy about that. It's gone really well. Also, they had county attorney and assistant county attorney and several folks that work on city code violations from Prior Lake. Oh gosh, where else? Alpha New Market maybe, and one other community I can't think of right now. And they talked about code violations and how that works in cities and the number that are of educational pieces that they do where they just go up to a home and say, hey, did you know? And people like self-correct. Also, there are the, 60% of the code violations they get are community complaints and what that looks like. And so just talked about the legal processes that communities have and what that looks like. So it was very interesting. And then they had a gentleman, I can't remember his name, that's the one I forgot. He works at the county level. And so that's a far different job because he has to think about farm sites and acreages, which is different than a parcel of land like in town. So it's just different. But it was very informative.
Great, good, thank you.
Yeah.
SEAC, Molly? Nope, Southwest Metro, we meet, oh golly, next week I think it is. Lots of changes there. They've done some staffing changes and they're changing committee structures and just going gangbusters there. So I'm really looking forward to the changes going on at Southwest Metro. And with that, we'll go around and do board reports. Sarah?
Not a whole lot. I can't believe Briggs is going into high school. I have no kids in any other school besides high school now. This is crazy. He's healing well. Probably no football, because it'll be cleared end of September, but yeah. But he's doing well. Yeah, I can't believe what I thought was amazing was I saw it in the athletic director's report, but soccer numbers there's 58 soccer for boys soccer. There's 58 kids who are registered. I love that we were able to be proactive. We lined up a C squad coach. We actually got a full schedule for all three teams as opposed to just trying maybe last minute to piece part together.
That's great.
So I think it's awesome to see that program.
Kind of coming into its own.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I saw pictures this morning when he went around and took pictures, and I'm like, there are so many kids on that field. I mean, it was very exciting to see. So, but remember we had said, we were wrapping up school. Kaden just graduated, right? And we're gonna be here before. Now you know how this. But you feel this now. You're like, here we are.
Calm down, everyone.
It's like, no.
Still think that.
No. But yeah, it's just here we are. I'm excited to see all the progress on what's been, done at the elementary school and the high school over the summer. I think it's really awesome. I think our students are going to come in and be excited as well. So that's
And
it.
you know what, I can work on a tour too, I know I wanna do one in September, but, let me see what I can do with Kristen. Maybe there's a time that we could all meet up
Mhm.
and go through it during workshop week or something
Yeah.
in an evening or something.
Yeah,
But I'll pull something together if that works.
I love that.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Good.
That's
Okay.
all I have.
Thanks, Lauren.
That's a tough act to follow. She covered everything I was gonna say about soccer.
ditto.
So ditto on soccer. I'm super excited about soccer and soccer season this year, and I'm happy to see all the kids will be coming back soon, and we are getting close to starting the school year, but I really don't have anything else to report on.
Okay, Molly?
I got nothing. Moving 2 kids to college in the next 2 weeks, so that's kind of crazy. But yeah, other than that, I haven't gone anywhere this summer, have I?
Yes, you have.
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I went
you
to
have.
South Carolina. That was
Yeah.
cool. But nope, everything else is good. Ready for the kids to get back in school, and I feel like it's been a really long summer with ending before Memorial Day. Like it's dragging on now. Now I'm done. So they can go back to school.
not at all.
Oh.
I feel like it just started.
My cupboards are like bare constantly. With 5 kids home, I'm like, okay, time to go back to school. So.
All
Throughout
so
Costco.
Counterpoint.
Yeah.
I'm very sad about kids having to go. But no, I first of all, I mean, I feel like it's been like a couple of years since we like last got together for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So it's good to see all of you.
Good to
And I really appreciate the update that you provided today. So just kind of being able to kind of see that everything's kind of on track, particularly with the construction, because that's going to play such a pivotal role in just kind of the seamlessness of everyone kind of coming back. So much appreciation for everyone who's making that happen. And so that's not only the people that are, you know, kind of helping with the construction, the renovation, but it's all the, you know, teachers and everyone that's in the facilities to kind of make sure that everything's kind of working, and just flexibility and adaptability kind of around some of that stuff. So that's awesome. Awesome to see. Super excited that today was kind of the first day for fall kind of activities. So kind of kids getting back into kind of routines in advance of classroom stuff starting up. So it's good. It's exciting.
Great, good. Corinne?
It's the end of the road. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, thanks for the update. The school, my kids are very excited. They always ask me if I'm going to get a tour because I think they maybe want one. But I actually am starting to get ready for school. I am also sad for my kids to go back to school. I love having them at home some days. So yeah, we were able to get up north a lot in July, and that time has come to an end. So now school shopping next weekend. That's all I got.
Jenny?
Yeah, we just wrapped up. We're wrapping up summer activities and starting fall stuff. Track and field day was great, but like boiling hot over in Belle Plaine. But it was great. The best activity for kids. It's so cheap and affordable, and like they have a blast. So I don't know. Yeah, my kids' backpacks are all ready for the most part. So
Bravo.
yeah.
Great, thank you. Lauren, you want to take those and pass them down? So I attended summer seminar, and I have to say it was probably one of the best summer seminars I've ever attended. Yeah, I attended the early bird session, which was on advocacy, and they did a phenomenal job of comparing districts, and this was one of the handouts they had. And I'm just going to brag on our district because they had this handout for all the participants. They're planning on doing it possibly for all the districts in the state. But literally, the table that I was at, we were supposed to share our district information with the other districts at the table. And all of them looked at this and went, oh my gosh, I'm putting mine away. Because of the statistics of our district, the fact that we don't have a voter-approved referendum in place, and what we spend per student compared to other districts, we ought to be really, really proud of the work that the administrative team and our superintendent have done in our district. And just the fact of, you know, I just think this is a great information piece, and just something that I thought would be helpful for each of you. And our test scores, down in the bottom left, we were far higher than any of the other people that were attending that night. that were in attendance at that. The keynote, Renee was also there, the keynote speakers and the structure of the next day, the full summer seminar was really, really good. The speakers talked a lot about governing for improved student success, and they had really good concrete ideas. Terry Morrow, he works for MSBA, he talked a lot about the policies. And then the last one was Dr. San Sam, who struggled all through school in many, 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 many ways. And he talked about what happens when we believe that all young people are brilliant and how that turned his life around. And it was really an emotional, very emotional and very uplifting talk. So that was a great day well spent. At our September meeting, we'll be bringing in our new student board rep. We'll be introducing him. I don't remember his name.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna.
No, that's okay. So we'll be bringing him in. We'll be swearing him in and being a little bit more formal, I think, with that position. And Daniela, our board rep from last year, is going to be heading off to UMD next week, I believe. So keep her in your thoughts. And then the morning of the kickoff breakfast, Friday, August 23rd, I hope you'll all be able to be there to welcome back. We'll welcome back our staff like we always do. Probably, 7:15 maybe, if we could all be there by 7:15 for the welcome back and Renee's little kickoff thing. If you can stay for that, that would be great. I think that's all I have, I think. So with that, we do have our superintendent evaluation, and we're going to be as efficient and quick as we can, so that Superintendent Evenson doesn't have to sit out there and, and so that all of us can get on. So with that,
Can I take a 5-minute, like,
quick bathroom break.
And just one more comment on this. I think this is a great piece of information to share with our community.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yep.
Okay, with that, I'll need a motion. I'm recording. I'll need a motion to go adjourn into closed session per Minnesota State Statute 13D.05 subdivision 3 for the purpose of